Hello everyone, my dear students. I am Akshay Sharma from Vimarsh IAS, and today we have something very special, very unique. In fact, for the first time that any coaching institute has dared to come out with something so special for the students who are aspiring for the UPSC interview or who are preparing, in fact, for the UPSC interview. Right? Understand one thing, the world around you, it changes completely the moment your mains results it out, right? And it is such a turmoil that you live through emotionally, socially, and turmoil in a positive sense, because you actually start structuring your things a little differently than what you have been doing all through your prelims and mains. Here it's more about you, that is personality test. It's more of a personality test. Now, to give you a structured understanding of what it should be, how that facets, all those facets of the personality should be looked into, one, by yourself, and second is how you work around all those facets, right, to make it a one thread. By one thread I mean, see, so many diverse issues, range of issues, right? Nothing under maybe sun is left out when it comes to preparing for UPSC. And whatever you think is left out is there waiting for you in interview, right? So to have that 360 overall view of you, yourself, your preparation, your understanding, it all boils down to one thing, that is your thought process, to your communication, and to have it going, to have the both of them going, it needs a very specialized preparation. Now, because this preparation is more about you, rather, if I can say, till now, what actually has been the nature of preparation of the students and most of the students that I'm interacting to these days, it's like a little haphazardous, right? You go on to talking to your peers, to your mentors, to your family, loved ones, and then you end up attending all kinds of mock interviews with all kinds of feedback, some worthy, some unworthy. Now, to have it all zeroed down to the last dot, because see, it's a pressure cooker situation from every possible angle, right? Every possible dimension. Now, to have the best of you coming out there, you should be structured, prepared, and thorough with things that might be fired or shot or thrown at you. Most discomforting questions, most situational questions, factual questions, whatever they are asked into, you should not be on the wrong footing, right? So to have it going, we at Vimarsh IAS, what we have done is we have come out with a UPSC interview toolkit. And mind you, it's a self-mentorship guide, right? Now, self-mentorship, because personality is something very personal to you. You yourself know the best who you are, what you stand for, the values that actually construct your conscious, things like those things, right? Now, I'm going to give you a little brief regarding how this workbook is going to work out for you, right? And how things have been done here in a manner where every single thing, or should I say most possible things, right, out of our experience, out of my experience of interacting with students, they have been discussed here. So let me help you run through this workbook. And this workbook is available both online, offline. You can purchase it outside as well, right? And yes, nothing is being claimed by us. In case if you find any difficulty with regard to any of the fields that I will be discussing here, you can come down. We are located at Old Rayanagar. You can come down, interact with me personally or interact with Ankur sir personally. We both are available, right? Maybe as soon as, I mean, at the shortest possible notice, because it's high time. Interviews have almost started, right? So let's delve into, so what makes this very special thing, that is the toolkit. So let's look into it. One, so as I told you, this workbook is like a thought tree, right? You have a tree, you have a thought tree. Sit under it with pen and one U. I do not sit under it with pen and one U, right? See, the first stage is you yourself, and that is in fact the last stage as well. So in a distraction free environment, in a absolutely closed and isolated environment, it is just your pen and you, yourself, right? Self reflect, discover the infinite you, and that is where actually I am speaking of that one thread. Self reflection and discover the infinite you. Everything vest in you, all the knowledge, whatever the reality, whatever is expected out of you, right? See, interview preparation itself is a phase change. It's a complete phase change as compared to rest of the two stages. And it is here that in the process, as you evolve, as you work your way through all these days, right, in the D-Day, in your approach to the D-Day, right, you will discover that virtually you would have bombarded yourself with every possible. And here, what will help you is that it is you, that is be you, right? See, my approach, my understanding, my chain of thoughts, my style of communication, my body language, right? My approach, the way, maybe my smiling face, maybe my a little concerning face, maybe all these things, they'll be discussed here, right? So let's get started. So here you can find our editor's note. Okay? He has a message for you. Now, this is one-to-one interview mentorship. So how to use this workbook to the maximum potential. So all that I have spoken here has been beautifully summed up here, right? For the first time, when you are attempting this workbook, it has to be done on your own. It has to be done on your own, right? And when you are doing it on your own for the first time, you have to use pencil and paper with minimal writing. Only keywords need to be put here, right? And having done it, then you can go for the next level, that is consultation through your mentors, as I told you, peers, friends, family, your ex-professors, and all those things whom you think are worthy, whom you think they know to an extent where they can help you with the self of you, right? So first page will look something like this. That is your Def 2. So whatever you have filled in your Def 2, what you have to do is you have to write it in keywords briefly here. So supposing if I speak of myself, I'll put my name Akshay, right? Akshay Sharma. And then I'll put what is the meaning of my name, right? So the meaning of my name is, say, someone who is limitless, right? Then possible questions you can think of. So supposing if it comes to me, if it is asked to me, so how can anything be limitless? Jiska kabhi shay na ho. How is it possible in this universe, right? It can be as vague as you can think of, or it can be as simple as you can think of, right? Maybe someone, a big celeb, or some big scientist, or some big actor, anything of my name, right? So, possible question, supposing if I take, it can be, so you have to write down the possible question. So, how can you think of something that is infinite, that is which doesn't deteriorate, that is which is limitless, right? So matter is constant in this universe, right? If it was to me, if it was to be answered by me, I would say that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. It is just the form. So the information field, the matter field, it all remains constant all through, right? Similarly, you can come on to the next field, that is the mother tongue. So what is the level of efficiency? What are the possible questions you can think of, right? Can you speak or write? So you have such questions. Then you come on to the next field, that is the place of birth. So the place of birth, supposing for me it is Bareilly, right? Then what is the cultural and historical significance? It is also known as Rohilkhand. So Rohilas, Pathans and all this, if you run back, way back, further back, it used to be Panchal region in ancient India, right? So all those things can be discussed here. Then you can write possible questions. So similarly, this entire depth field has been threadbare. Hair splitting has been done here. You might find certain fields too excessive, but they have been purposefully done for you to rigor yourself to any damage. See, the more you introspect, the more you think. This workbook is like a soundboard, right? The moment you start sitting with a pen and this paper, that is this book, and you start jotting down, you start writing, it will start working as a workboard. So maybe certain fields you can find may not be appealing, but I can promise one thing, that it will lead to the higher dimension. That is some of the most fascinating thoughts, questions that you myself actually might reflect upon you, right? So you have to do this process very diligently, right? Then father's nationality and profession. Most of you are Indian, so father's nationality will be there. And just in case if it's something different than you can think of. Similarly, you have all the questions, its impact on your perspective on social issues, right? Its influence on your upbringing. So how, maybe for some of you, you might quote, if this thing is asked, who is your role model? You might answer it's your father, right? So then you have to elucidate a little, right? Speak in a little more detail. So for you to work out that part, these things have been meticulously designed, right? Similarly, you run through if your mother is working, if your father's annual income, mother's annual income, right? How these things, they have gone, father's home estate district, then mother's home estate district, all these things. So as you run through all these things, year of passing, name of your school and institution, board, university, percentage marks, every possible thing has been discussed here, right? Now, having done this, you will land upon to this page. That is what would be your preference, zone, state, and all these things. So here also, you must have filled in whichever zone and whichever state you might have chosen of. Remember one thing, UPSC, for UPSC, it's all one. It's one nation, one service, right? The whole point here is, if you become a UPSC, if UPSC selects you, if you become an administrator through those services which UPSC intakes you, so primarily it's your chance to serve your country better, right? Do not get into unnecessarily, don't have those worries going through your mind. If what UPSC indeed, this interview indeed is 275 marks, right? No GS paper gives you that kind of marks. So here, your choice of services, you might end up getting that plus your maybe home state in case if you have gone for, or whichever state you come from, right? But those things should be secondary, those things should not rank you, because it is your love for the nation that should rank in your heart right now, right? Once you are into services, little bit here and there, it is such big platform and all the services are good, right? So do not get unnecessarily worried regarding scoring, regarding marks. Nothing absolutely should concern you right here. Only two things. The call of duty right now is just one word, that is your love for the nation and a chance to serve the society in a better manner, right? Now, similarly, so all possible questions there, they have been taken care of. Then regarding what would be your order of preference, zone, state. So possible questions, factors influencing your decision in selection of any specific state in preferred cadre. So you write down all those things. Supposing if I come from UP, so what is it? What is so appealing about Obviously, I understand it, but what if not? Prepare for the counter question as well, right? And then you can write all the possible questions here, whatever comes to your mind. Similarly, you should be very well aware of socio-cultural, this socio-economic cultural aspects of your states. You have prioritized, right? All those things. Then it comes to those All India services, Group A and Group B services. You would have done, if in case you have chosen why IAS, all those things, rhetoric questions. You might be asked, you might not be asked, but you cannot escape these questions, that is for sure. So you have to write, and once having done it, what this workbook does is, at times our minds, they get stuck. If there is one question or if there is one thing, it keeps ranking on our conscious and our subconscious. It simply, fizzles us out. What this workbook does is, it gives you that bridge. So just in case if you are stuck with any question, any of those issues, whatever comes to your mind, you write here. And just in case if you need any assistance, you can come to us, right? Or whichever this thing. But then it will never allow that one gap in your thought process. You will identify, you will move on, and then you will come back and fix it. As I told you, fill it with pen. Do not bother about absolutely any spelling mistakes, anything of that kind here. You just write it, whatever comes to your mind, to your heart. Don't differentiate, right? The next time when you come, you go about looking on all those nigglings or those gaps in your thought process. As you work around, as you research online, as you talk to your mentors, friends, to us, and as you bridge. So you will now be very specific, maybe with 4, 5, 10 issues, right? And those can be worked out like this. So here also you have, and again, questions which have been related to us. Now, this is the index, that is table of content. From here, actually, the effect of the toolkit, it starts. So, till now, what we have done is, one, we have filled in def and all possible questions which might arise, which might come out of def. Now, to have it a little more, why it was put in before this index table? The reason is simple, because that is there. Those things are very static. You would have filled it on the website. Now you will have it on paper as well. And from here on, the next level, that is the level 2 of your preparation starts, right? So primarily here, an introduction to UPSC services, purpose of UPSC interview, aspects in description, scoring, rank determination, all possible things have been taken care of, right? Your personal information, that is def 2, how to fill, states and cadre, everything has been worked out. Then current affairs preparation, how you should go about from here on, because you hardly have time. Issues are infinite and you hardly have time to actually, to work out, right? So then you have mock interviews. So here you might be appearing in 2-3 mock interviews, wherever. So whatever, whichever question, institute you trust. So whatever the feedbacks are, you will be writing here. So let me now get into detail. Similarly, optional subject preparation, ethics and case study, personality development, time management, then UPSC CSE interview checklist is also given here. Then acknowledgement. This is a very special section. I'll discuss it in a part. And then there is a part 2 of this booklet as well, which you can go on to vimarsies.com, right? And you can download and get it printed. Primarily here, all the PYQs, that is previous year questions that have been asked, they've been given here optional wise. So you have geography, students who are writing with geography, with socio, with history, or who have written with all these options, they will find their previous year interviews, right? They have been sourced from various students, various sources, where they have been collected, compiled. The idea of here giving, because see, you are fresh with your optional. So your knowledge framework right now, it's packed around those options. So what we have done is, rather from UPSC point of view, we have prepared these questionnaires from a student's perspective. So if you have a geography option, you will have all possible, maybe maximum possible questions which have been asked in past or which we have actually collected through various sources, and students are past year students, right? So introduction to UPSC CSE, this is chapter 1. Here you can read a little, right? Why these editorials, why these things have been given? It is primarily the intention is same. You all will be going through the same, but I can promise the understanding, the extract of it will be different for each one of you. And the reason is because what we have done is we have created this mind space here specifically for you guys, right? So time to self-reflect. Suppose the following table is designed to help you access and build upon your preparation. Rate yourself with regard to specific keywords in a space provided below, right? Administrative skills, personality analysis. So what is administrative? It is evaluation of candidates' ability to manage and govern, crucial for civil service, for civil servants, right? So where would you rate yourself? So these ratings have been given purposefully so that, and mind you, here you have to write only specific keywords. Do not end up writing here literature. Literature doesn't matter when it comes to speaking. It is only those specific keywords that will remain and that will stay with you, right? In interview board, in front of interview board, right? Personality analysis, knowledge and awareness. So all those attributes, communication skills, analytical abilities, social traits. Supposing if it comes to social traits, typically what happens with engineers and all this, they are a little weak. So what specific social trait needs to be taken care of? You will write here. Is it, and mind you, you are facing those guys who have experience, who are tremendous, almost like 200 years, maybe close to 200 years odd experience, right? And believe me, this is the most upright, this is the most transparent exam possible anywhere on face of earth. So have immense respect for your panel, because what they are doing is their sacrifice. Just ahuti bolte na. So I'll tell you, on face of it, IAS and all this, it's very good UPSC. But believe me, you are preparing in your love for your nation to sacrifice yourself to the nation in the line of, maybe for a soul, not like a soldier in the line of duty, but in the course of or in your this journey of your service. Friends, family, everyone enjoy, but your life will be different from there on, right? Your life will be completely different. So have immense respect for this big yag that is going to, where you yourself are going to, give your ahuti to that yagya. Have immense respect. Do not have absolutely any doubt regarding anything, any of the supposed bias or anything for that matter. It is the most transparent and it is the most honest of all possible exams anywhere in the world. Forget about India. Then it comes to problem solving. So where you rate yourself, right? So these are basically all emotional intelligence, social responsibility, because these are the things, these are the traits in the course of your answer. They might ask you certain question, and then you know what, all these attributes of your personality will be reflected upon them. So for us to make those things in simple black and white, it is recommended for us to make things black and white for you, right? It is recommended that you rate yourself, write for yourself, and understand the true nature of your personality, right? Then it comes to scoring and ranking. So here is a past analysis. 2013 has been taken as a base year, because from there on things they stabilized a little as to what actually they are right now, right? You can just have a look at it, because as I told you, interview, if you score 215, 210, you know what, it matters, because that can seriously get you to the position that you are aspiring for. and it matters because such scores they have been achieved in past, and it might be the case that you might set another benchmark, another new record. Then constitution of UPSC interview panel. So you can have a glance at all the UPSC panelists, though it is recommended that you visit UPSC site and have the updated information, right? Just in case if there is any change. Then personal information. Now detailed analysis, def 2, that is here, right? Now understand one thing. Information verification, understanding of candidate, accessing suitability. So these things, they have been there and for them to judge, right? This is nothing beyond a starting point. Now, how to fill state cadre zone? So most of you might have done, and in case if you have done, I would still suggest you to have a rerun, because questions can also be asked, as I told you, from all these things. Then filling in preferences of your services, a little more detailed and information is given regarding all the pros and cons. So some of you who would be like deeply stuck into say nahi mujhe IPS ही चाहिए पहले, है ना? So you will have all your doubts, everything clarified, and you will be at ease with regard to all these services. So in detail, services, their pros and cons, ठीक है, have been given here, and for easing you out, a specific field has been provided to you here. Mention factors that matter to you. So what are the factors? And believe me, once you have gone through all this, so you know those unnecessary, what should I say, craving or that unnecessary, nervousness. The biggest problem in interview is handling stress, handling pressure, right? Because the situation is like that. And specifically for students who are like appearing for the first time in the interview, believe me, that is the least pressure situation for you. The next time you go, pressure, it just piles up. So have this thing in mind. There is nothing to lose, absolutely. All that you have come to the stage itself is a big achievement. All right, there is nothing to lose. You are just putting in your best effort. There is nothing, no nervousness. So one, with regard to selection, and second, with regard to getting the services of your choice. All right. So once having done this, you will be at ease with regard to any service that you might be getting, because obviously you will be a UPSC guy, right? Then hobbies and interest. Now you would have filled in your def form as to what are your hobbies and interests, what generally interests you. So here what we have done is we have created this workspace in a manner so that the possible questions, so what generally interests you, right? Then you have this model framework. To qualify the word genuine, you need to list out activities that you are rich with content, examples, and applications in everyday life. For example has also been given here: reading literature, playing music instrument, volunteering for social cause. So if you would have filled in, suppose in music, I love listening music, right? Pastime. They might ask you anything regarding, say, Mohammad Rafi versus Mukesh. So what are the difference between this style of two? It can be any dimension. They can ask one. So soul search, reflect upon whatever hobby you have asked in, and you know what? Put that question here in specific keywords. Something contemporary is always there, but certain legacy things are also here. Famous personalities, famous people, and all those big events which have actually stayed with time. And obviously contemporary is always there. So can I talk about it confidently? Then does it reflect a well-rounded personality? While you are speaking, while you are writing here, mind you, while you are attempting this workbook, you will also be subconsciously speaking to you. Is it me? Is it my kind of thing? Does I really is my conscious, or is the myself in sync with these words that I have put in, right? So that framing becomes a little easy. Then similarly, so you will go through all these fields, right? Having done it, once you have decided your hobby, here is how you should prepare. Okay? So whatever news, major events, write some possible questions that might be related to hobby. Further space has been provided you so as to help you out just in case if you have those things that come to your mind and which needs a little space, which needs a little structuring. And here in this document, in this workbook, in this UPSC workbook, you will have it all at one place. You know what? And believe me, it will be just reduced to as it is written here. Discover the one thread. That is, it will be just one line that will, like a big bang. That infinite point or that singularity from where the universe originated. If not, that unity actually is that one thread. That's singularity, sorry. Then regarding work experience. So now preparing for UPSC full time, or maybe you might have been working with some institute like the guys here do, right? Ex-UPSC or maybe UPSC aspirants who are preparing while working for things. Or maybe you might be doing something to specifically prepare some maybe course on water conservation, some diploma, or maybe you might be into some services, right? So it can be a situation where maybe you are a civil engineer, right? You might have worked in some software company, and then you are preparing here for UPSC service. Now, obviously, civil engineering, if the question is asked, say, what is the foundation of Taj Mahal? And superficially answering, you are risking there. So it will never be the case where in case if you do not have that understanding, they will go pounding on you on the same, this part. Because they also understand from there you have moved on into software. From there you have moved on to UPSC. And here, while preparing, you might be preparing completely here, or you might be working here also sometime, some part-time, whatever it is, right? Or full-time, whatever it is. So it will never be the case where they'll be asking specifically, or they'll be pounding you on that, or you'll be marked only on that issue itself. No, that is never the case. It is your honesty. That is how you honest you are. Okay, नहीं पता उसमें क्या है, बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है. It's just another thing. So understand one thing, especially for freshers, I'm telling you. If it's a situational interview, you will score very well, because like it happens, next time it might be a factual interview, right? Where, facts, to do justice to all those kind of things, it becomes a little tricky, right? So the sample questions that you can while writing in brief. So here is a little more this thing. Here are some possible questions that UPSC interview panel might ask a candidate with any academic background, work experience. Candidates can customize their responses based on the specific academic background or work experience while writing in brief, right? So all those generic questions, motivation. Then you have challenges, then interaction at the work environment, because there the chemistry, how actually the workplace chemistry, it actually helps you evolve. And those become integral part of your personality. While you might not be aware of it, but if you have worked through certain professional life, supposing if I speak of myself, say I was with Times of India Group as an editor, right? So those things have molded, those things have given me some personal traits which, despite of me not knowing myself, will be very reflective of me, right, in my approach. So these things are there, right? And for us, for you to know, this entire exercise will help you again the same way, that is, explore self in keywords. So while you are writing all these, while you are reflecting upon all these challenges, significant challenges, reflect on your career. What were the significant challenges you encountered and how you navigated through them? So simple keywords, in fact, a flow chart, or maybe a little, you know what, at times these things you might get stuck, or you might have nothing to write, nothing specifically to think of. So just skip those parts. You don't have to bother unnecessarily about filling every possible field. That is not the idea. The whole idea is, just in case if you are comfortable in your subconscious, in your conscious, regarding certain things, I think it can be handled. It is advised for you to write certain keywords. If not, please feel free, right? Don't get unnecessarily too bothered about things. And just in case, if you think if something is required, right, we are there to help you and unlock. It's time to explore your own strengths, weaknesses. So here, write about your experience, understanding, motivation. So here you'll be writing primarily a brief about whatever job that you have done, how you have lived through, a little one pager of it, right? And it will help you. It will help you big time. Then comes to academic background. The same exercise that we have done, right? Because life is strange, and you know what? The application of it makes it even stranger. So you might have read something, you might have worked somewhere, and then you are preparing for this service. So it's all one, right? And it is this exercise that will make it, that will further consolidate it. So a little about your optional subject choice, relevant knowledge, right? Your graduation subject, whichever you have read, whatever it is. Don't end up, if you supposing you have done mechanical engineering, and it might be 3-4 years preparing, you might have worked somewhere, then again into it. So don't end up committing this blunder of preparing or revising those mechanical thing completely, at least for the freshers, right? Nothing of that sort is going to, even if it comes up in interview, it's not going to matter so much in my, what should I say, in my personal understanding. Then it comes to current affairs preparation. Now current affair, we know what it is like, reading all through these years, right? Current. So it's just a little more to the next level, right? That is, you should be a little also clear about the news sources that you have picked up. You should be a little more structured as to, if something is asked, what was the source of news, or which are the news, which are the websites, which are the bloggers, or maybe which are the influential writers, authors, and all these things. So be a little more precise regarding the source, right? A map has been provided here. So what you can do is pick up, supposing if it is UP, so UP is like, maybe it has become, I think second it is in terms of this thing, the net contribution or the GDP to India. So it is, first is Maharashtra, second is UP, third I think is Tamil Nadu. There's a little difference. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's very close, UP and Tamil Nadu, maybe 9.2, something like this. So this is what they are committing to the state GDP, to the country's GDP, right? Because UP aspires to become 1 trillion economy by 27, something like this, right? There is a roadmap given. So be a little clear about all those things. Plus you could write all the major events, news that has happened. And mind you, before going into interview, please take a look on the major headlines, whatever they are, and specifically the source that you follow, right? Now draw a regional map of the India. Supposing if I come from Bareilly, so I'll draw entire regional map of the Rohilkhand region. And in that particular region, I'll draw all possible. Maybe it's a region of Tarai, so I'll put in rivers, I'll put in all kinds of little things, a little about forest, a little about wildlife, all these things. Plus, I'll also be supposing if it is known for Zardozi, so I'll write a little about that as well. Draw, and all the major news points also I'll put here, right? Then you have a word map. So right now, Red Sea and this this Arabian Sea, Persian Sea, they are all in news, right? So take a deep look at here, write all those major islands, whatever is here, be very clear about, specifically if you are a geography student. If not, still you should be clear regarding the news flow of this region. Plus obviously Ukraine and other places of importance. Then news sources. So you have so many other news sources, magazine, government, websites. Then you have news apps, social media. So news resource diversification challenge. So it is never advised for you to just mention one source. As an intelligent mind, you will always be craving, because understand one thing, when we speak of newspaper, so some newspapers, they have their ideologies, as you know. So if it is some newspaper is socialist, which is highly popular here, there might be other which is into investigative journalism. Third may be into lifestyle. Fourth may be a little about economy. So all these things you should be so diversified. When you give these responses and when you prepare yourself, but see, paucity of time might not have allowed you then, but for you, you can very well prepare this part here, because somewhere you would have read, because questions are issue based. There is no black and white, there are always areas of gray. And it is best reflected, it is best understood only by this through diversified. So how to it? This exercise will help you how to do it. Okay? And this is again regarding note taking and summarizing. So this you can go through. Then most of you might be attending certain mock interviews. So whatever mock interviews you have run through, write a little brief about it, what they have, and mention only those marks which you consider as genuine, because most of the market it's like that, right? It's more about your pictures and photograph data. So be very clear regarding it. Then optional subject preparation. And this again, this entire understanding is this entire thing, this entire workspace, the mental space has been structured primarily to give you a little relook into whatever you have prepared, right? Then revisiting graduation subjects, you need to just flip it a little, right? So that you yourself are in sync. And a little, you know what, most of the things are there in our subconscious. A little flipping of pages makes you a little comfortable. And that comfort is all that is desired here. As I told earlier, don't be unnecessarily bothered to go into revising all those formulas. Understanding ethical dilemmas. Now, this table below provides a structured framework for understanding ethical dilemmas, allowing candidates to organize their thought and develop nuanced responses to UPSC interview. Students can use this space provided to jot down specific examples and key points, right? So dimensions of ethical dilemma, personal integrity, what is the value to speak of, right? Upholding personal integrity is crucial, honesty, sincerity, this all we know. Write down probable questions. And here what you can do is take down Vimarsha, go to vimarshies.com, download part 2 of this book. You will have all the previous year question. You can go through all those questions, but first, whatever comes to your mind, write it, and then you consult that source, right? Everything has been provided there. Similarly, there are so many fields: conflict of interest, decision making, then socio-cultural sensitivity. All these things have been discussed, and think about it. Think about the issues that are ranking in your mind. Do not be unnecessarily going to maybe content searching. That is not the idea. Whatever comes to your mind, it's fine. If not, that is fine. Just have the part 2 of this workbook from, it's a free download from vimarshies.com. Just download it, right? Or maybe you will get it on your WhatsApp if you put the number in the field. And thereafter, you can lift all those questions from there. Then again, a little practice has been given, right? Suppose if it is personality attributes, say communication if it comes to you. And a case study scenario, a young civil servant struggles to communicate effectively with a team of experienced bureaucrat. Ethical dilemma, the young civil servant must find a way to communicate effectively with a team member in order to successfully complete the project. Course of action, the young civil servant could adopt an empathetic and collaborative communication style and active listening to the team members concerned. Justification, the young civil servant's decision should be based on careful consideration of the need to establish rapport and trust with the team members and need to be assertive without being dominating, right? And a need to be flexible and open to the compromise. This compromise is not here with regard to the task, the objective, or this thing. It's with regard to that, you know what, there is structure and there is substructure. So that social organization that is being spoken of here, right? So you can go through all these things: leadership, critical thinking. Then you have emotional intelligence, journal awareness, personality integrity. All these things, they have been spoken here. Outside it, there will be other things as well that might come to your mind. You can prepare a similar chart here. And this you have to do. Right? Then ethical framework and values. So this entire workbook, right? Then you have personality development that is given here, communication, body language, all the aspects of body language, mirroring, sitting posture, hand gestures, everything has been spoken of here. The whole idea is here for you, wherever is required, important or empty spaces have been given, and those fields are very important, right? And wherever it's not required, it has not been given. It is just about telling you as to what it is. Suppose if it is open arm, crossed arms, or mirroring, sitting posture, hand gesture, and all these things, right? Then handling stress and anxiety. This is again a very effective exercise. The whole idea about this page is, just effectively managing self, right? So how you can go about it? It is given here: self assessment and goal setting. You put a time to it, a date to it, and then write down only the key areas, right? Then time management, how you can create a schedule. You all are genius in all these things, but still an attempt has been made to help you structure here. If required, take it. If not, it's up to you. Allocating time for various aspects of interview. So these things are suggested, right? If you meditate, if you do a little yoga, certain little body, it will help you immensely. So please do it. Then UPSC interview checklist has been given here, right? You can check. And then comes the most important part, that is acknowledgement. Now, what is this acknowledgement for? Believe me, at this age and with the kind of competition that you have reached this stage, it's worthy. It means a lot to whatever you do in your life. I mean, through this UPSC or otherwise, right? And this needs to be mentioned here. That is, your success, in case if you succeed, is never yours. Your failure is also never yours. You have that infinite social sink behind you, right? So what is expected is to write a little note for your family, for your mentors, friend, peers, and others, whichever you think of. And this will you know what? It will make you a different person once you have done this, I can promise you. And then write a preface of you that is in first person, what you are, what is the objective, where you are placed right now, how you have achieved, and all those things that comes to your mind. This is a very personal page. To do it and keep it for rest of your life, right? So on the last page, rivers don't drink their own water, trees don't eat their fruit, clouds don't eat their crop grown from the water. Lives of noble are only for helping others. That is the ahuti that you are going to give, right? So this is me, and this was all about this toolkit that Vimarsh IAS has attempted to help UPSC interview aspirants. You can fill this workbook, right? Fill it meticulously, assiduously. Having done it, please, with whatever references, with whatever mock interviews, right? Having done it, come to us, and we will be more than happy to help you out with regard to absolutely anything, right? Thank you, and see you soon. All the best. Prepare stress free. God bless you. Thank you so much.